This next example is one of severe injustice and humiliation. Matthew 5:41, and if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. A Roman officer by law was allowed to make any citizen carry their load for 1 mile. Now, the Jews that lived in Nazareth have been starving for 2 generations. That's why there are so many stories of people with deformities. The Romans have been exporting all of the food. There's lots and lots of food being produced in Nazareth. It's the breadbasket of the Middle East. There's loads of farms, but nobody owns the farms anymore because of what the Romans have done. They have stolen all of the land, and everybody is starving or now slaves. And so it, to do this, to be gracious enough to carry somebody's load, not 1 mile, but 2, is a huge ask from Jesus, physically, mentally, and emotionally. But this is something that makes a huge impact, both on the person that does it and on the people that see you doing it. It's something that restores your dignity, restores your humanity, because it is now your choice. It is not because they have forced you to do it. It is because you have been kind and gracious enough to help them. You are the moral superior of them, and the power, uh, the 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 power has shifted, and for once, you you are a superior to a Roman officer, and they feel how wrong they are. And it is obvious. And it begins to change their heart. And it slowly turns enemies into friends. This is true because we see that in Matthew 8:5-9, there's a story of the Roman soldier that recognizes Jesus as his Lord and says that he is not worthy to have him come into his home, but asks him just to say the word from where he is, and his servant will be healed. And he knows this because he's under authority and he understands authority structures, but he recognizes Jesus's authority and asks for his help. And he trusts him and respects him and calls him Lord, which is huge. A Roman officer does not do that to a citizen. So we see how Jesus is able to change the hearts of many different people. We also see this in the 12 disciples. Not only does he appeal to the common man, many fishermen, but he has a tax collector, Matthew. Uh, he has a zealot, somebody who is fighting against the Roman occupation, Simon, and he has um, a a thief. But the tax collector and the zealot, they should absolutely hate each other because the tax collector is working with the Roman occupation. But Jesus brings them together. I'm sure there's a lot of forgiveness work because the zealot is ready to murder tax collectors, but now they are friends. Also, we see that Jesus has a member of the high council, a Pharisee of Pharisees, that asks for his body and provides a tomb for him once he is crucified. He is changing the 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 atmosphere around him. He is changing the government around him. And we see that this is what happens in our uh, current day too.